Most business content is built around the 1%, the billion-dollar exits, the overnight successes, the fundraising, the founders that have the right connections, the right zip codes. But this show isn't that. The ground floor is for builders in the middle, the SME owner that is running the payroll on Friday, the operators that are pivoting twice and still are figuring out, the connectors, the creators that started with nothing but just have the stubbornness to solve the problem. These are the ones that do not make the headlines, but these are the ones that move the economy. Every episode, every conversation with someone that has earned the scar and has something to share. If you are into it, this is for you. My name is Priyanka and this is The Ground Floor. Let's get it rolling. Welcome to the second episode of The Ground Floor. My guest today was born into music. He is from Jamaica and now he is making his mark in Dubai. He sings, he dances, and when you see him live, you understand why those three things were never meant to be separate. 7 years in the music industry, he has written all his music, all his notes entirely done by him. Before music took over, he was on the track, he was a runner, and that actually tells everything about all the discipline that goes behind that artistry. He's been in Dubai for just under 2 years, building something in the solid city that doesn't slow down for anyone. Wancred, welcome to The Ground Floor.
Thank you for having me, Priyanka.
The pleasure is all ours. Take me back to your early days. Let's start with your childhood. How was the environment where you grew up? What was encouraged, what was not, and how did from that music came into your life?
Okay, so I am the fourth child of 4 children, and being the last one because it's a musical family with 2 unified parents with the same vision and also musical background. They encouraged us and directed us to do music. And so I observed my older siblings, and it was easier for me to learn from their mistakes. And so most of them play the piano. So I have an older brother and older sisters, and they play the piano, and it was easy for me to play the piano. And then my brother got me the saxophone at age 11, and that's when it made a difference for me in the family, being the only one that plays the saxophone. So these were great foundation being born into a musical family.
And how was athletics part of that same childhood where you were also in the musical family, you were surrounded by music and instruments and the siblings? How did that pair with athletics in the early childhood?
So my father is very important in my life, and he's the one that had the vision to know that sports and entertainment is very important, and especially it has an advantage where we are from Jamaica because we have a lot of people to learn from, like Usain Bolt and also Bob Marley, who represents those 2 aspects of entertainment. And so because of that, it was easy to learn from them and go on that path.
Incredible. So what I'm getting from your story is it wasn't a this or that, but it was something that you were sort of trained to do together. The athletics and the music were supposed to feed into each other. Is that right?
Yes. So fortunately, because I'm from Jamaica and Jamaica is relatively a small island, it's easy to be connected to people. And so I went through a high school which had the second fastest man in the world came from that school. And because of that, there's a rich history in that school called San Diego High School, and they have such an immense training program that can train athletes to have that world-class mentality. And so I'm used to getting up early in the morning. I'm used to training so hard. I'm used to vomiting. I'm used to feeling like I want to give up, but then still push onwards. And so all of these things train me to like be a soldier of life.
Wow. So I see it was never really a decision, it was just the air that you were breathing all this while.
It's the environment.
Yeah, yeah. How did you realize that, music is not just, something you are doing as a hobby, but it is really your passion? What was that moment when you realized that?
The truth is, my siblings will tell me stories when I was a baby where they will go to some musical events, and when I'm like 1 years old, they see me hitting the drum on time, and so they recall these stories to me. And also, they always tell me that I used to dance like Michael Jackson even before I knew Michael Jackson. So by the time I knew Michael Jackson, it was just so easy to study him and then move forward in my own taste. So it was just truly a part of me. And moving forward, I don't know what I can do without music. My life would be miserable.
It's just a couple of minutes in the podcast, and I'm already discovering that alchemy that's going on inside of you. We've spoken about already athletics, um, the piano,
Yes,
saxophone, the dance.
yes.
Yeah, so I'm just curious of what is going to be out of this podcast just as we move ahead. But tell me, when you pick that passion, when you pick the saxophone, how did you start, the business side of it back in Jamaica?
Okay.
How did you transition from, just learning and playing and practicing to then actually performing?
Good point. So, again, I always have to mention my family because I learned from them a lot. My older siblings, they were basically like in the music industry before me. When I was going to high school, I used to leave the school and go to the different shows that they have, reggae festivals, different music festivals, and I observed how things were, how they are backstage, how the industry is. However, my family, we definitely got a huge hit in terms of negatively because the music industry can be cutthroat. Um, our family, we are trained to be nice from the Bible. We are spiritually grounded. And so we try to give love and care for people, not realizing that people are not the same in the world. And so quickly in the music industry, my family really tasted something very bitter. And up to now, I use that lesson to guide and to filter people.
So you had that, you'd figured out your niche, you figured out what was working well for you in Jamaica. And at such a young age, back then you were 23.
23.
Yeah. How did you think of moving to Dubai? What aspects of Dubai you considered would help you? Because at that age when people are in their comfort zone or building a foundation in their comfort zone, that is when you decided to rip yourself off from that place.
Mm-hmm.
Get into a new country, don't know if you have connections, you don't have connections. How did that transition happen? Why Dubai? And you are still just 25, and what was your thought process?
So, back when I just turned 23 in November, sadly, that was when my mom passed away from cancer. And moving forward, I realized that my life is very sad, and also the music industry in Jamaica, it can be stuck. And what I mean by stuck is the music that they are promoting is violence, and it's not really creative as how it was decades ago. And so because of this, I realized that I needed a new environment. USA, they are oversaturated. There are a lot of competition in USA.
Mm-hmm.
And also UK is also very similar to USA. And it was my sister at the time that suggested Dubai. I did not have Dubai in my mind, to be honest. I just knew I wanted to leave Jamaica. That's what I knew. I needed something different for me mentally to even live. And so when I researched Dubai, I realized that, this is an emerging place, and this place may just have opportunities, and it is just completely outside of the box. And to my relation, when I came here, it seems to me that other people has a similar mindset of leaving their country to progress in somewhere that's different from their country. And so Dubai has turned out to be a good choice.
Incredible. So you had closed one door really, but you don't know what the next door that was opening for you was, and then eventually Dubai happened, and now you are just about 2 years in Dubai. How do you think Dubai is treating you as a musician? Do you think you have a real foot here on the ground now?
So when I just came in Dubai, I did not know anyone apart from my sister. She came just a little before me. But because of that, the first 6 months, it was just so hard. I did a lot of free shows just to get my name out there. And I realized that the agencies in Dubai, they control most of the foot in to the clients. So back in Jamaica, I could just show my social media to a restaurant owner, and then that's it. I can be playing there next day or next week. But over here, they like to be very organized and systematic. And because of that, this is where the agencies are the ones who basically control to a certain level who they can offer to the clients. And so if you don't know these agencies, or if they don't know you or favor you, then it's a hard foot in. And so it took time for me to go to a lot of open mics, a lot of free shows, to build relationships with people. And after like 7 months, that's when I started to get gigs. Relationships and networking is very important over here. And you have to be patient. If you're someone who is not already prominent or big, it takes time to develop your relationships with people to perform and get paid gigs.
I also want to talk about social media in just a bit, but when you say agencies, do you mean the event management companies, or there are separate agencies that you work with?
So I mean event management companies. When I say agencies, that's what I mean.
And coming from Jamaica, how do you think? Do you see any gap between the culture there, the culture here, in terms of the music that you want to promote, and do you see the audiences here are someone that will accept that style of music, that culture that you can bring, that nice blend of Caribbean, Jamaican culture with the Middle Eastern culture? Do you think the country or the region is ready, or are they already accepting that culture?
So the first thing is reggae music is big in the West, but when I came to Dubai, I realized reggae music is not big in Dubai. But the other genre, which is like dance hall, this is people like Sean Paul and Shaggy. They like that type of sound, that dancehall sound, mixed with European electronic. And so I realized that people over here, they love certain beats that are driven by the creativity of Jamaicans. So they like the so those type of beats are they like that beat so much, and is when I came over here, I realized that, wow, these people actually like the sounds of Jamaican music, but they tailor it in their way. They speak their Arabic on it, they speak their Hindi on it, they speak their different languages on Jamaican creative beats.
Wow. Do you think that really makes you that unique blend that brings those beats? And you say you were a creator as well. You're just not someone who is, playing someone else's music, but you actually create that music. How do you think that is helping you stand out in amongst the musicians here?
So definitely my taste in how I create and also the song choices, that definitely helps to create a unique identity. And also being a Jamaican is advantageous over here. When I say I'm a Jamaican, people's faces light up and say, oh, but some of them think Jamaica is in Africa. So I want to correct them right now. Jamaica is not in Africa, please. It's in the Caribbean, far away, and it's close to USA. However, I realized that subtly and doing my research and understanding the audience, because as a musician you have to take the time to read the audience and see what they like. And more and more I'm realizing that they subtly like the Jamaican sound. They love the beats, I know that for sure, but I also realize that they love how we speak. So right now I'm speaking standard English, but I can just speak Jamaican right now. If I go say, yo, man, step in the place, Priyanka, how are you doing today? Priyanka, your answer, all right, step in. They just like that flow. But it's different, like rappers don't sound like that. American people is, I'ma be alright. It's different from Jamaica. Jamaica, we don't say, I'ma be alright. We say, me I go be alright, and me I go do me thing. Every time you see me, everybody knows. So it's different.
Wow. Wow. I think the talent is in your genes and you're just making, it out, just putting it out in the world. It's just incredible to be even part of this conversation with you. What is the presence of the native Jamaican community in Dubai? And I'm just interested or curious to understand what kind of host mix do you have? Are they locals, or are they Jamaicans, or are they a different nationality altogether?
There are Jamaicans over here. It's very small though, but enough to make an impact, because that's just our culture. Wherever we go, we can make a difference, even if it's just one Jamaican teacher in a school that can make a difference, because I've witnessed it. And so it's not big, but there is some level of presence, and we still do it in music and food.
Interesting. I'm actually just thinking of one more question that's just running in my mind. So I come from India, and in India, the culture is we are very hospitable people. For us, the guests are treated like God, and this is something that is so engraved in in literally every Indian, that it just comes out anywhere. What is that one thing, or what is that really, that culture that you say Jamaicans carry enough to make an impact? What is that one thing, or what is that vibe, or what is that that's something that stands out, that makes you more Jamaican than anything else?
Good vibes. And what I mean by good vibes, even in down challenging situations, we're going to try to find some way to smile out of it. That is Jamaican people.
It's so beautiful. When you spoke about agency contacts, can you just walk me through how in the initial days, you said you did 6 months of free shows just to get your name out there? What was that turning point for you, and how did you build these these contacts with agencies eventually in the starting or early days of your career here?
So going to different events, even sometimes events that is not related to music, but I know that music is still connected to basically all industries, because once you're keeping an event, if you don't have music, it will totally bring down the energy of your event. And so that's how important music is. So I even went to technology events, sometimes even real estate events. I'm just showing the extreme of how far I went. But most of the times I went to musical events and I just speak to people. Are you on Instagram? Yes, I take their Instagram. Like Instagram is also pivotal because it just keeps you in the loop with people on their stories, and what events is coming up. And also, I noticed that when you're just following someone, they love to look on your mutual friends. And so over time it grows and they feel more like a pre-connection to you as they're just connecting to you.
No, that's beautiful. That's incredible to know. Um, Walk me through, how do you make, uh, you know, a living out of this business? How do you make money to sustain in the long run? And how long does it take for an artist, typically who's just starting off, to start making a comfortable income where they can stop doing everything else and then take this up full time? What was that transition, or how is that transition like for artists here?
So, long story short, it is rough. Like in the initial stages, me and my sister, we help each other. And so when things are going well for me, I do what I can to ensure that she's very comfortable. And if it's the other way around, she do what she can to ensure that I'm comfortable if things are low. And so you need some level of support because the music industry is not as stable as other industries where in which you have like a salary. When you're more like a freelancer, in which I am, it it takes time to be or find more reliable clients that can book you consistently. And so it is definitely hard. However, there are two types of artists or performers in Dubai. The ones that are just cover artists, which means their sole purpose is to leverage other people's music and just perform it to audiences. And so they focus on performing for covers for people. Then you have the original artists. The original artists are the ones that make it big because they focus on their own original music. And so that takes time before, with great strategy and maybe a touch of luck, to make it big like the Lady Gagas, the Bruno Mars. But all of these people, or most of them, were in similar positions of these struggling artists. And so you have to decide what type of artist you are. Are you just a cover artist or an original artist? And I am an original artist, and I ensure that last year, when there are down times, I did not make that distract me. I just work with, as long as I can survive and get around and eat food and shelter, that's all I need to make my music. And I know that my original music is like a seed that I plant that will grow one day.
So when you said you were an original artist, but what about if you had to just make, just put your creativity in creating a cover of an original music, but just completely with your own, with your own essence in it, because that still makes it unique, that still makes it creative. Would you be open to doing something of this sorts if an opportunity shows up?
Okay, I am open-minded. However, when I am walking the streets, if I'm in a restaurant, if I am about to sleep, there are so many creative ideas in my brain that I am saying to myself, if other artists can be original and give us their idea, why can't I continue to give the world my idea as well? Because this entire world, everything you see, the cameras, the plane in the air, the cars, all of this was stemmed from one man believing in his creativity and then putting it out to the world. And so I am open-minded to working with other people's ideas. However, it's very complicated. So there are different types of innovating someone's idea in music. There is one called interpolation, where you take their idea but you sing it in your unique way, but just enough for people to recognize that, hey, he referenced to a song that was done before. Or you have samples where you literally take the exact recording of someone and put it back in your song, that is sampling. And however, these things can get complicated if it's not cleared from the original source. And so I just believe more in my own creative ideas to go through all that trouble.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. I'm actually more also curious about your take on AI because I recently came across music that went viral with millions of views on Spotify and, in fact, more views than the original music, and it is an AI track. What is your stance on AI, and what is the future that you see of how you and AI, or you meaning an artist and AI, can work together, or you prefer the parts to be separate? What is your take?
So that's a great question. I have done some research and also courses in which taught me that there are always evolution happening around us. And so people who were in the cassette or vinyl era, when the cassette came in, the persons who were on the top said, "What are you going with the cassette?" And then when the CDs came in, people who were on the top with the cassette were saying and criticizing, "Where are you going with the CDs?" And then when MP3 came in, it's the same cycle. People who are on the top of that time, they want things to remain the same so they can remain in control, and they're not open to the change. And so here we are now, fast forwarding to CDs, MP3, to now music streaming platforms and also social media. And so in every new birth of evolution or technology, it's always a new opportunity for different people who are open-minded. And so to me, it is not prudent to keep a closed mind on AI because it's just like CDs coming in vinyl. It's an evolution. And so AI music, I believe that as a musician, I can create everything from scratch. But just the fact that things are improving, you have ChatGPT. ChatGPT is so important to doing everyday things, like knowing what material to buy for your new clothes that you want to design. It helps you to broaden your horizon on topics that you did not know. And so AI outside of music is so helpful. And so if you put it to music, it should be helpful as well. But I don't think you should rely on it.
Okay. To give me a recent example or somewhere you use AI to really make a difference in your efficiency, and maybe that has become the way you work now. How do you use AI, and what are those places where it's okay to rely on AI so you can then focus more on other creations.
So, when I just started hearing these AI music, I'm not going to lie, to know that someone can generate something in seconds when I spend hours in the studio, because I am an independent artist that does the arrangement, I play the piano, I play the saxophone, I record my own voice, and because of this, I don't have a label, and I spend hours focusing on doing my craft in the authentic, humanly possible way, right? And to know that someone just came up with a song in a couple of seconds, and then also on top of it, put it out on Spotify, and I don't know what they do to rank up so much streams. It definitely can feel so reductive, meaning that I am wasting time. It can feel like I'm wasting time competing with something that is not even human. And so for me, I use AI outside of music with my everyday life. It speeds up my everyday life with ChatGPT. That's my go-to, because I need to research just everyday things like what's the best car for a tall person. Like there's certain niche questions that Google don't give you immediately. Um, what's the best place to go in Dubai? Which restaurant is the best to perform for saxophone? These questions help so much outside of the creative process, but because it speeds up my efficiency, it allows me more time in the studio.
Yeah.
I also experimented with AI just to see what it is, and so I can see that it can generate music, but I don't really feel connected to it. I feel I have more creative control when I do things manually, and so I focus more on doing things manually for me.
Okay, and then you're open to changing your ways if need be.
I'm open, I'm still observing, and
Yeah.
let's see where the stars align.
So right now you're using it for more for research, expanding your
Yes,
thinking, your your
that's
thought
it.
process.
Hmm.
Got it. When walk me through your social media journey. This is an interesting one. I'm curious about. You have about 11,000 followers currently
Yes.
on your Instagram. How do you manage it week by week?
That's a wonderful question. It's hard when you're managing several aspects of your life. For example, as I say, I'm a producer. Like being a music producer is a profession by itself.
Yeah.
Someone who mixes the music after the production is a profession by itself. So imagine I'm the one singing, producing, performing, and then social media now. My sister helps me to manage social media, but she also has her own business as well. But when she has time, she helps me. But most of the time, for example, she's the one who helps me to video me. So when I'm on the road at different events, she's there. She videos me. But when it is done, I'm the one who has to edit. Being an editor is another profession by itself. So I am doing all of these things. I know it's exhausting. I know people will tell me that yes, you need a label, you need a team. I know all of these things, but it's just the path that I'm on right now. And so, social media, it's it's a bit difficult to manage when you're doing a lot of other things.
I am sure. How do you even keep track of, besides everything else you're doing, how do you even keep a track of, is this post working? Is that working? Is that hook working? Or is our posting time correct? This post is working. Let's stop doing these kind of posts. Do you do that analysis at all, or do you just go with the flow?
I definitely do that analysis. However, when social media just started, everyone was so open-minded, so kind, so giving. Like back in 2015, at that time I was like 14 years old, but I was in high school, so I could not focus on social media that much. But 2015 to 2020, there was like a window in which social media was new. People were so open-minded, but now it's like it's people doesn't they don't want to like your post anymore. They don't want to comment anymore. They don't want to reshare anymore. Um, only if you're a celebrity who already had made it big, they ironically want to keep supporting someone who doesn't really need much support. Not saying that they shouldn't, but someone who is more on the starting, or should I say the basic level. I noticed a huge dip since 2020, and I think also TikTok took a lot of people away from Instagram as well. And between 2020 to 2025, um, upon observation, there was also a big window for people to blow up on TikTok. But ever since like 2024 onwards till now, there's a huge dip again in which I saw happen to Instagram. It's like after a while, people stop being open-minded to support people. And it's like the algorithm, I don't know if it's overcrowded or something. It's just, when I just started TikTok, it's like almost anything that I post is blowing up. Now it's like it's stuck under 1,000 views, and I do so much research and people, there are so many social media gurus on the internet saying, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to boost this, you need to post at this time. I try it, it doesn't work. And so for my mental peace, I just say, you know what, just be patient and do what you can.
So, just managing multiple aspects of your life, I would say, not just your business. What is your advice for starters who are just, researching on getting their foot into this industry, in this location? What is your advice for them right now as of 2026?
My advice is to be patient and also accept your life as it is. Someone will come into the music industry and blow up this immediately. Another person will take 5 years to 10 years. Some don't make it, some give up before it was just about to. And so it's important to believe in yourself, and most of all, ask yourself, are you truly passionate about music? If you're truly passionate about music, certain challenges won't deter you. No matter how long it takes, it will not stop you from doing music. And so it is important to focus on your path and not let comparison steal your joy.
Yeah. So just be observant, be opportunistic, be optimistic, follow your passion, and that's really the kind of advice that really moves people. Before we close, what is next for you? What is in the plan for your next 1 year or 3 years moving ahead?
Okay, so my plan is to continue to make original music that can resonate with the minds of the different cultures in Dubai, because I think music is a universal language. And so I want to find that sound that people identify with Van Creed and continue to produce more of it and build that brand awareness in Dubai for the next coming years.
Incredible. And also, Ben, before we end, I want to hear from you about your new album, Creed,
Yes.
which is about countries. Tell me more about it.
Okay, so I released this album called Creed in 2025,
Okay.
and its goal is to bring different people together, because, and also it's a unique concept because I did my research. How can I be different in this world while still using music to connect people? And I realized that, I don't think anyone has ever done an album of countries. Everyone is speaking about the same topics. And so I challenged myself and I researched all the countries and I made a song. And I made songs about each country, and the first one was UAE, and I released that, and so far they liked it. I have different songs of like India, I have South Africa, I have UK, USA, I have Brazil. So I deliberately chose impactful countries from each continent so that I can connect with the world. So that's the main point of just connecting people in a different way.
Amazing. Share the link with me. I would love for it to be in our description for people to watch.
No problem.
And to everyone listening, thank you for spending this time with us. If Van's story moved you, challenged you, or it gave you something to think about, share this episode with people you love, people you want to inspire this with. Leave a review, leave a comment, follow us, and come back for the next time. The ground floor is powered by Clyro, and we are just getting started. See you at the next one.